Omar again with Chicago Cycle Network. And oh yeah, we're still in the kind of fake summer winter time in Chicago. We had like 2 good days, and now it's back to raining and storming, and things are all over the place. And we might get some snow, we might not get some snow, it might be warm, might be cold. Who knows? But again, we're used to this. Okay, it's Chicago. But by about mid-April, the weather gonna stabilize, and we're all gonna be out and doing our thing and having fun on the bike. And today here, I have somebody that you guys can get to know who she is. You probably have seen her around, but we'll take some time to wait on that. And again, we'll get to know her. And please, let's keep the miles and smiles going in Chicago. Let's keep the connection. Let's just keep on having fun with cycling. And again, for everybody who's been supporting me, thanks for all the subscribers. And please subscribe afterwards because I'm trying to grow the channel and to spread the word. And again, if you ever want to come and sit down and talk biking with me, I'm welcome. Just reach out to me. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on everywhere. And I'm Omar again, and I'm on Strava as Ramo. Everybody know me. Most people in Chicago that bike with me know me. I bike with almost all the groups, and I have fun doing it. So here I am, just doing something I'm very passionate about sharing with people and have people come to share their experience in Chicago. So yeah, today I'm here with Lisa, and I'm gonna call her Mona Lisa, like, as Nat King Cole say, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa. You guys are too young for that. This is the great Nat King Cole, as a song that sings so beautifully when it says Mona Lisa. But here I am. So introduce yourself and let us know who you are.
Awesome. My name is Lisa Hilleren. I've lived in Chicago about 13 years now.
Oh, a long time.
Yeah, I moved here after I graduated college. I'm from North Dakota originally, so I think it's lovely right now. Winter is a whole 2 months shorter in Chicago than it is where I grew up, so I feel so blessed to live in this city, honestly. Great place to be a cyclist.
Yeah, I second that. Other than, I used to live in Miami where it was mainly running, but I will take Chicago, whether anytime again. If it gets too cold, we just want a trainer. We Zwift. So we're in North Dakota. Is it from? Like, we're specifically in what college you go to?
Yeah. So I'm from a town of about 8,000 people called Watford City. It's almost in Montana and about 2.5 hours from the Canadian border. So very different than here. And I lived there until I was 18, and then I moved to Wisconsin to go to Ripon College, which was also very small. And then I ended up in Chicago because the only marketable skill I had when I graduated was being fluent in Spanish. So
you speak Spanish fluently?
I do, yes.
Oh man, this is a perfect place for you. So we need to get go to Miami then. If you're gonna go to Miami, you'll fit right in with all the people there.
Yeah, I've got an account in Miami. So I was there like a year and a half ago. I had a great time. Absolutely go back.
All right. Well, if you go back to Miami, let me know, because I know all the people in Miami. Like, in the running community in Miami, you say that you know my name, and people are like, oh, Omar. So
nice.
When you go back next time, let me know. I promise you, just let me know. All right. Anyway, so you live close to Canada. Did you ever try to sneak into Canada back in the days and sneak out?
No, but we used to go on family vacation to like this random water park in the middle of like the woods in Saskatchewan. And then 9/11 happened, and you needed passports, and it was a big bummer. Canada is great, though. Definitely spent a fair amount of time there in my childhood.
Oh, that's awesome. So let's start talking cycling. So I have a few like quick fast questions for you, rapid fire. How many bikes do you have?
7. Yeah, 7.
Which is your favorite?
Well, I love all my children. But I think probably my road bike is my favorite.
What kind of road bike is it?
Yeah, I have Liv Langma.
Liv is actually, nice.
Yeah, so I'm really short. It's hard to find bikes that fit well, especially since I have really long legs and a short torso. So Liv is one of the only brands that actually fits me well. So like, I've done centuries on it, all kinds of silly stuff. Really love that bike.
And then, so what kind of cycling do you do with 7 bikes? Commuter, cyclocross, gravel, road, track?
I've done it all. And these days I mostly do track. And then I'll do like spirited group rides. I still commute. I have a work from home job most of the time, so I don't commute all that often anymore. But yeah, these days I only am training for track and then just long, fun rides with friends. I prefer pavement out of all of the things, but I have done one of all of the races just to see.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, as I tell Katie that I might end up going to track one of these days. And my friend, I don't know if you know Marcus Dorcas,
Yeah.
but he's been inviting me to come to the track for like years now. But
Yeah.
it might happen. It might happen. You never know. Let's see how it plays out. But it seems like track is a lot of fun.
Yeah. People say people who like the vibe of cyclocross will also love the track. It's also that very like community oriented, lots of hanging out. You get to race 3 times. So if you're not too smart like me and you mess it up a couple times, maybe you're going to get one of them right. So it's a fun time. And all of the races are short.
How short are the races?
A long track race is like 10 to 20 minutes. I've been in races that are like 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
Yeah.
You're in and out.
Yeah.
All the power you're done.
Yeah. And I don't like threshold effort, so it's great for me. I am purely a sprinter, gotta say.
Well, if you're a sprinter, then we need to get you. Have you heard of Dublin Wednesday night, right?
Yeah.
So we need to have you come. It's you're sprinting like for a good hour and a half.
Yeah, it's the stuff around the sprints that gets a little dicey for me sometimes.
Yeah, so every time when I go to WNR and I tell the guys this, if the sprint is not clean and things are too cumbersome, I never contest those sprints. I'm like, guys, you guys are young. Yeah. If you guys crash, you can heal fast. I'm old. I don't heal as fast as Wolverine anymore. I am. Yeah. So I'm like, nope, I'm not going there. I will pass on that. So that's smart that you actually think that. But it would be good to get you to come out. So the other thing though, as I mentioned before, I remember seeing you like back in the days as I used to bike with I think Eric's bike, or sometimes we come up Crawford, and I remember seeing you coming up Crawford with this group. So tell me about the group. Like, what group do you bike with?
Yeah, so I've had a long career in Chicago cycling. I started out leading group like non-racing rides for BFF bikes like way back when they opened in like 2014. And then I got tricked into racing, and it turns out I'm extremely competitive and I like that a lot. So I got really into that for a while. I was on BFF bikes and definitely serving in like a leadership role for that for a few years. Then the pandemic happened, lots of stuff got blown up.
Yeah.
And we started Dropettes, and I've been riding with Dropettes since.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about Dropettes? Because Katie mentioned it last time, but can you like explain, like, so people can know? Because as I mentioned before, we have all these amazing groups in Chicago. And if you want to know about the different groups, different group rides, remember ChicagoGroupRides.com. That's the place to be. You look at it, you'll find a group. So tell us a little bit more about Dropettes. And if you're new to the city or in the city looking for a group, it might be your group.
Yeah. So Dropettes is a space for folks who mostly race in the women and non-binary fields. So no cisgender men. Otherwise, we're open to everybody. We are a more laid-back team. There are certainly folks on our team who are out there tearing it up. We've got some state champions. So people get after it, but our vibe is less results-oriented and more about making sure that you're having a good, like, holistic experience on the bicycle. We do a lot of, like, open social rides in the summer. We'll do, like, brewery rides or ice cream rides. And in May, we should be starting up our Friday morning coffee ride again, which is a before work situation. We'll ride at like usually 16 to 18 miles an hour, round 20 miles, sometimes a little less. And it's just an important place for the community to get together. That's something that's always been really, really important to me. And it's something that I've tried to carry throughout all of the sort of like different positions I've had in the like Chicago cycling community.
Yeah, and where do you guys meet for you have a meeting place for your rides yet?
Yeah, so unless otherwise posted, we meet at the Chess Pavilion on the Lakefront Trail, which is like at the North Avenue entrance at 6:25. We roll at 6:30, and not if it's raining. But more details to come. That'll be on Instagram. And that too is a space for everybody to be welcome. What we always say is no assholes allowed. That is the rule.
You hear that? No a-hole. which is a general rule for any cycling group you're in, okay? Don't be a twat waffle.
Yeah.
That's one of the rules for the Illuminati. Don't be a twat waffle.
And if you are, I will escort you from a ride.
And we have to wear a helmet, right? You have to wear a helmet.
Yes. And we also ask that you not ride with tri-bars. It's just a safety issue. It's hard to get out your brakes. You're a little bit swirlier, and the lakefront trail is chaotic as it is. So control our controllables.
So I'll tell you this though, when I was in Miami, and I used to watch like the group rides in Miami, you see tri-bike and road bikes together, and sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, because when I was in Miami again, like I see the group rides and it's a mix of tri-bikes and road bikes and everybody and all different things. So I came here and I saw some of the group rides, and they were like, oh no, tri-bike, and I was like, what do you mean no tri-bike? So in Miami, that's a norm. It's normal in Miami. But here, again, I've brought my tri-bike on the group rides, but when I do that, I'm at two places. I'm at the front pulling.
Yep.
Or I'm like 10 meters off the back. So I'm not inside. And also, if I'm inside the peloton, the group, I'm never on my handlebars. I'm always holding my brakes because we're going at an easier, slower pace, so I can manage. But if I'm in a big group, I'll try a bike. So it makes sense. It's just
a safety thing.
Safety reasons. So it makes sense. Yeah. Do you follow Tour de France? Tour de France.
I mean,
a little bit.
I only watch women's cycling. I do.
So who's your favorite female the person you follow?
I mean, it's hard. I really like Allison Jackson a lot. She won Paris-Roubaix a couple years ago, and like just top-notch race. If you haven't watched the 2023, was it 23? No, I can't remember. Maybe it was 22 edition. She like got in a break early on, and then the peloton just didn't do anything and just let her go. And then, iconic like sprint finish, and there's, like all of the other big names in women's cycling just like, and they can't close this gap. And it's like, I love watching stuff like that happen. I love rooting for the underdog.
I like, me too. So, in for example, staying with underdogs, right? So when I came to the US in 2000, didn't know much about American football. And I came here and I was watching a game. And again, I went to a HBCU in Dallas, Texas. And I mean, football is huge. I mean, everybody talk about, back in the days, we talk about Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and all them peoples and the Dallas Cowboys. It's like a religion in Texas. Okay?
Yes.
No idea. One day I was watching, and I was never a fan of the Cowboys, but I was watching a football game and I saw the Colts. And they were the underdog, and that became my team.
Yeah.
I'm a Colts fan forever.
I mean, my dad raised me that way too. Like, let's root for the losers. His team was the Minnesota Vikings.
That's a pretty good team though. No.
Well,
I mean, but they might not win.
Yeah, no, they're never going to close that deal. It's but
life is sinusoidal, right? Sometimes you have a winning streak, losing streak, winning streak. But it's going to come on, because look at the Bills. They're probably the worst team.
Oh yeah.
Players are going to look at them. They're actually doing pretty good now. Or back then.
And like, let me tell you, the first race I ever won was an accident. I was just like, I got in a bad place and I just had to go for it. And I knew I was going too early, because it's like, again, I'm a sprinter, and this was like a 2-minute effort. And I was like, oh no. I was like, all right, here we go. And I had got a lead out from my teammate Margaret, and that was great. But then she blew up, and I still needed her. And I was like, oh. So I'm like coming over this little hill, and then you can see the finish. I'm just thinking like, oh no, like the entire time as I'm like just going all out, like trying not to throw up, out of my mouth, obviously in my mouth already. And I like barely edge out at the line. Like it was like probably, I don't know, a foot or so distance.
Hey, a win is a win, and I can respect a hard effort. And sometimes, if you don't, I know for cycling, I know sometimes if you don't push yourself, you never know what you have in the tank.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're at the point of breaking, is when you find yourself.
I'm just real good at making the dumb move, thinking like this is going to work out or something's going to happen. I think like the second night of racing crits I ever did, I had this brilliant idea where I was going to go from like the first turn and then lead out my teammates, because I was like, well, I can't win races, whatever. I don't know what I'm doing. So I attack, and then I'm like, hop on, and then she's like, I'm gassed, and then I was like, oh no, this is the bell lap. And you're like, I got 3 more corners of the Skyway crit to do. So there too, I'm like, uh-oh. You're like, all right, well, you committed, so just do it. But, it was good. I won that bunch sprint, so felt good. And I was like, oh, actually, it turns out I like crits, not cross. What did I know?
And so you did all that stuff, and you think you did the stupid stuff, but you're living to tell the tale. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful story, right?
Well, I always want to make the move. I'm always going to make the move instead of just sit in. Like the most frustrating cycling season I ever had was when I was trying to upgrade to Cat 3. Because again, I know I'm a sprinter. So it's like I would have to sit in races, and it was so boring. I hated it so much.
No, but you have to be patient. It's a chess game, right?
Yeah. So, but I was just like, okay, just sit in, because if you get the sprint, then you get the points, and then you can upgrade, and you just want to upgrade, so just calm down. But it was so hard. I am not patient at all.
Well, hopefully you can learn patience, because it will go a long way. Because Norcal, which is one of the guys who reviews all this racing on bikes and different things, and he was saying, it's all about you have to race smart.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the guy with the biggest watts is not necessarily the guy that wins.
Oh yeah.
It's the guy who's smart and sit down. And for example, Corey Williams is an artist at doing this. They just sit and work their way up to the front, and you have like Bahati, and those guys are like this artists at this, and they just wait for their turn, and they just do all the work for them, and then they just like lap 5, just slowly move up.
Yep.
And then it's over.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will help you a little bit. I mean, if it works, it works.
I mean, I'm past the point of my racing career where I care. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go out there and I'm gonna throw some attacks, just because we're here to have fun. I'm here.
Fair enough.
We got an audience, my rule is, if someone yells at me on the track, do a flyer, I have to do it. And this did get tested last year. Somebody yelled that to me, and it was the lap before the sprint lap. So I completely tanked my chances. But I was like, it's the rule. I gotta do it. I don't know.
And then Katie was telling me there's rules of blue line and black line, and I'm like, I'd have to go and learn all these rules, because I have no idea.
I mean, I promise you, anyone can learn how to race safely on the track inside of 30 minutes. So it's show up a little bit early on Thursday, get your rental bike, have someone who races all the time show you the ropes. It's fine. If you are good at riding a bike, or you know how to ride a bike safely in any other context, you can do it at the track.
Gotcha. Well, I'll take this advice. I'll tell Cody, this bike can be converted into a track bike eventually if I want.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But
I mean, I'm going to be bummed if I don't see you this year. I'll be looking for this bike.
I might, if I show up, it might be on my regular road bike, and I'll maybe do some laps around. I mean, I try to be a sprinter. I tell myself I'm a sprinter. But let's see. Let's like you. I'm an old fart now, so I'm way past my prime days. But I'm not past my fun days, though. I want to have fun and have a good time, so I'll still. You never know. So let's see.
Well, track is the best for that. To quote my friend Megan Kelly, in track, if you're not having fun, you get to go down a lap until you are having fun again. You can't really do that in a crit. But the track is, what is it, 283 meters long or something? It's one lap is 90 seconds. So it's if you're having a real bad time, just slow down, get back on the group. Then you can race again. No problem.
All right. And it's a lot of pressure. So I get pressure from Katie, I get pressure from Marcus Dorcas, and I get pressure from Mona Lisa. All right. You never know. All right.
Gotta see it happen. Gotta see it.
It might happen. Anyway, so how do you get into biking? I mean, there's other stuff out there. How do you get into biking?
Yeah, I've been biking really as long as I can remember. I grew up on a gravel road, outside of town, and riding bikes was just one of the things that you did. I had this really horrible Walmart mountain bike that didn't fit me.
Was a Huffy maybe? Riding those bikes.
It probably was a Huffy. I don't know. I remember it was black, and that was it. And definitely the shifting did not work, which is cool because I also grew up in the Badlands, so it's those are real hills. It's not flat like this.
So maybe that's what you get all those sprinting legs from, the sprinting member muscle. Life was preparing you when you're much younger to
Well, and I mean that's why I live in Chicago now because climbing sucks. So, and that's why I like Miami
too.
too.
A lot of climbing in Chicago. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
There's no climbing in Chicago.
Yeah.
Zero. Other than maybe Tower Hill and the rolling hills in up for the Island Park, the ravines.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Well, those are great though because those are power climbs. So those I like. You know, I love like a 2-second effort. You know, like let's put out like 700 watts and get up there and see how it goes. I'm still on that Strava leaderboard. Have you know?
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
For Tower Hill. Yep.
I don't think I am close because all those bad boys like Lanyon and all those guys, they're still up there on the leaderboard for Tower Hill and all those climbs.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think I have like 1 QOM for the Goons route still. There was a favorable tailwind. I had a 3 lead out train, and it was also my peak lifetime fitness. So, like, that's never. I couldn't do that shit.
Well, if you ever need a lead out for anything, just let me know. I can try to be your leader, but probably I don't get dropped by you, but I'll try to give you some some good lead outs.
More than a dropper, the droppee these days than the dropper, but that's okay.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So do you do a lot of indoor training? Like, do you do in a trainer, or you just it's mainly outside? And what do you do when it get cold in Chicago?
Well, I really like winter biking, like a lot.
Mean that you stay outside?
So I will ride outside a lot. This year, I haven't done like a ton of indoor training. Like, if I'm really, really, really trying to perform well, yes, indoor training is a thing. But this year, I've just kind of been trying to pay attention to like my emotional relationship to cycling. So I've been mostly like doing outside rides like with friends and stuff. And then like sometimes like this morning I rode on the trainer. So like I've got Swift, it's fine, you know. But I did find like when I was trying really hard to like upgrade and stuff and like be like really in like road shape and everything, I did spend a lot of time like doing structured training, like a lot of like VO2 work because I don't feel safe doing that outside. I don't want to die.
Fair enough. I mean, you probably could get away with some interval training if you head up up Sheridan maybe.
Yeah.
From like Tower and Sheridan all the way up north to about Island Park, you probably can get some structured workout there.
It's okay. I just like I'm really intense. So like if I'm going for it, like I am going all out for it. And I just like there's potholes, there's like other people, there's cars, and it just like it never felt wise to me. Yeah, I'm like fairly risk averse too. So that wasn't my scene. Like I would do sometimes like on-offs outside, but that was about it. Nothing where I was like trying to hit target powers.
Gotcha. Yeah. I again, most people know I don't train. I ride my bike. I do random things. If I feel like I want to bike with the A rider pacer today, constant tomorrow, the next day,
yeah,
I do whatever I want. And then especially when it warms up, no training. When it warms up, it's time to hang with my friends. We ride our bike, have fun, try to drop each other, have coffee, do beer rides. Again, I ride with almost all the groups in Chicago. I've mentioned this to you before, but I ride with. If I don't ride with them, I own the jersey. So from 606, OK Cycling, I'm Evolution, I'm Triple X, I'm Plaza, I'm Cartado, I'm all the biking clubs. Give me a jersey, I'll wear it because I don't race.
Yeah.
So there's no conflict of interest. I just want to have a good time. I used to race back in this running wise, see all my medals. It was our first place, pacing, all sort of different things. But now I just want to, I'm old now. I want to just enjoy myself. No stress, no pressure, no nothing. Just have a good time. I think that the Jamaican approach, everything is just airy, smooth going, easy going. That's where I'm at right now in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, there are so many different like great group rides to hop in on. Yeah, I've definitely got some favorites, and some of them are more and less welcoming to women as well. So that's something to consider. But yeah, it's great. There's usually somebody who you can ride with. There's usually someone you can find.
Yeah, and I can tell this because we have been advocating, looking for. So I bike with a group called Cortado. We leave from Bimo Blanc up in Plaza, but we leave at 5:45 a.m. in the morning. So most days I leave at about 5:15 or so. I leave here 8 a.m. in the morning, go bike with them, and I'm back by 7:15. Take the kids to school, then I go to work or go to sleep or whatever. So if you ever want to join us, you're more than welcome.
I am a morning person.
So if you ever want to join, you know where I live. We can meet here, ride up together. And they will be so happy because again, we're always trying to get more females. As I tell, Simone and like Nikki and and Elizabeth,
Mhm.
Dixon. Man, it makes me so happy to see all the female, they're doing their thing, and there's a female group, right? I think Simone is leading now.
Yep.
We're trying to build up all the stuff and what they're doing. So females are always welcome. A bike with like Ruth, uh, um, who else am I missing? Dorothy. That's her name, Dorothy. Yeah, all of them. And when
Mhm.
they show up, hey, man, it's all ages too. It just makes me happy to see that. I like with them all the time. So I'm really, really, again, looking forward to see what 2025 do for bringing back and try to promote and help more females. Hey, come on, we need you guys. We might be a little bit intimidated sometimes, but we're always looking for females. So if you can join us one day, promise, come out and join us.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I've been in this community like a long time at this point, and I think one of the ways that other rides can help welcome women in is, by like being more specifically upfront about like, women, please attend our ride. This is the experience that you will have. Because a lot of the time that you spend as a woman in cycling is random men will come up to you and give you advice that you neither asked for or needed. That's even worse on a road ride.
I get it sometimes too, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I didn't ask you anything. Yes, I have a low cadence. I know.
Yeah, like it's working for me. It's fine. If my bike is broken, go ahead and tell me because I should know that. That's a safety issue. But like the way to invite people into a group is usually not telling them what they're doing wrong. And there are a lot of men of a certain age who have not figured that out yet. So a lot of times, like as a woman, when you're choosing, okay, who do I want to ride with? I'm going to ask other women, like, who is good to ride with rather than just show up. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I'll just show up because I don't care and like I know where I'm going and I'll leave if I don't like the vibe. But like when you're new, like that's not going to feel safe or welcoming to you. So my challenge to everybody else is think about how you are making your space safe. How are you inviting other people who are not already on your ride in? And it's not just women, it's people of color, it's like people of diverse body shapes. If we want the sport to be welcoming and, a fun place for everyone, we need to be thoughtful about how we're conducting ourselves and how we're engaging with new people when they show up to our rides.
Yeah, so you basically answer a question I was going to ask you, like what are one of the challenges that you face as a cyclist in Chicago, and you basically answer it. Like, yes, guys, we don't have to give females, any advice. They know what they're doing. Trust me, they know. They're okay. So one thing is to back up, but I tell you, at Cortado, it's one of the most welcoming group, and these guys are just like they're a much older crew. But my God, so welcoming for me. I mean, there's a story with one of the guys who leads the group, David Lipinski. When I was riding with Evanston Bike Club, and I sent him a message on Facebook because of my friend Andrew Van Til, and he never responded to my message. So finally I went to the ride. I'm like, hey, you never respond to a message. You don't like me or something? And he's like, I like never check my Facebook.
Yeah.
And then to this day, me and Dave were like one of the best buds. And one like the group, welcome to female, and they never give people advice or go away, you're wearing the wrong color socks or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, when we get to each other, we kind of goof off with each other. But again, what I like about them, if you ever need any tips with biking, and like our friend Andrew Van Til, I featured him on the channel before. Anything you want to get fixed, or if you want a bike part, whatever, you post it in our group me chat and ask for, and they will help you out.
Yeah. Yeah, and like
and that's what I like about that's aspect of Cortado.
And there's so much of that does happen in the community. I think sometimes it's just remembering that you need to ask before just providing unsolicited feedback. We in the past had another like open women's monthly ride that was hosted by all of the different women's racing teams. So a lot of times I would be on that ride and there would be newer folks on that ride. So if you notice someone is maybe having a harder time, you can come up to them and say like, hi, here's my name. What's your deal? Let's talk. Are you open to some information? And if the answer is no, then that's the end of that conversation. But, if someone is showing genuine care and concern and asking you if you would like some input on what you're doing, That's a lot less alienating. That's a
Right,
way
right, right.
to
And
share your knowledge and let
exactly,
them
versus
in.
talking down to the person like, hey, look
Yeah.
at me. I'm king of the castle. I'll tell you what you're doing wrong, and this is how you should
Yeah.
fix it, right?
Like, I've had
Yeah.
men explain my own route to me, and I'm like, yeah, I made this route. This is my ride. Thanks.
They're like, oh yeah, there's a pothole in the corner, but you're like,
Yeah.
I know. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
No, and you know, and I'm telling you, to this point you're making now, you know, I have had close friends of mine who, even sometimes with my buddies, we find ourselves guilty sometimes of giving unsolicited advice. It's like, it's maybe a men thing. I don't know.
Well,
You can't help it, but
like, I get that it's coming from a place of like wanting to be helpful, but like, we all need to check ourselves, you know?
you're correct. You're correct, because again, over time, after talking to my friends, I realized that, you know, guys, why we just feel like we have to tell you stuff? If I didn't ask you, then that means I don't need your input. So that's something I had to learn over time. I'm going to be honest with you, because again, I didn't know anything about biking. I learned a lot, and then when I learn a lot, I feel like I need to share with everybody.
Yeah.
I've never tried to talk down to.
Well, it's like
but it's just,
you get excited, and I
exactly,
get it.
exactly.
Because it's like, I can go off too. Or like, so I've learned to stop and say first, how much information would you like? You know, because it's like, maybe we want to get into it, and maybe you just want to know what size that wheel is, and
Right.
you don't need to talk about it more, you know? Like,
right. Or if I see someone, I'm like, hey, you shouldn't be using those tires. You need to be using GP 5000, because GP 5000 are the best. So
I mean, I agree. Yes, I do agree.
Everything is GP.
Yeah, you know, you like what you like. I tried, of course, what are they, like the Vittoria, like Corsas? Like, one season is, this is the worst. Yeah. Corner, I hate it.
Like, no, those things are like biking and with water hose on your tire. Like, no,
no.
And I don't recommend Turbo Cotton, because about 3 years ago, I had a really bad accident in the Carmack Sprint. I was coming down with my friends, and then we met up with at the time it was Johnny Sprocket before they became Evolution, and we went in this Carmack Sprint, and everybody's like, hey, jump on Omar's wheel because he's gonna launch really, really fast. And I went in the launch, and I peeled the rubber off the cotton part.
Did it like delaminate?
Yeah, and I went down hard.
Yikes.
And I got run over by my friend Dave Lapinski. We have a story. I got run over. Yeah, so I don't recommend Turbo Cotton for anybody. Yeah. If you use them, maybe after like 2,000 miles or so, change them, because I didn't expect that.
No, yeah.
So I will share with someone like, this is my experience. I'm not saying you shouldn't use them, but please, after like about 2,000 miles, for your own safety.
Yeah. I mean, if someone's going to ask me like, hey, what's a good road tire for riding through Chicago where there's glass everywhere and, you know, all the potholes and stuff, I'm going to say, you know, GP 5000. That's great. But, you know, other people like other stuff, and that's fine too. Just be mindful and, you know, check your tire wear.
Yeah, right. And what I used to do back in the days before I switched all GP 5000, I used to do Vittoria. Yeah. Before early season.
Those are great, but they're so hard to mount.
And the mounting sometimes is because of your rim that you're using.
Yeah.
Your
well, I also have small hands, so that doesn't help.
So next time, phone a friend.
Yeah.
Do 50-50.
Usually when I'm on the ride, I'm the friend being phoned, though.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of tricks that we've actually figured out. Like my friend Andrew, there's a lot of tricks that we've actually figured out. You can actually use it to mount hard tires and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things out there. You can watch them on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I try to get rims based on our chat that people find that are hard to mount, and I just stick to those rims. Yeah. And so far I've been okay with what I've been using so far with the GP 5000. But man, GP 5000. Oh my God, they're like riding on silk, just so amazing, glued to the ground. So I love that stuff.
Such good grip and wet too. Just Yeah. Big fan.
So you mentioned that somebody's trying to help you with your route in Chicago, which is kind of hilarious. Which is one of your favorite places to ride in Chicago? One of your favorite routes?
My favorite street to bike on in Chicago is King Drive.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, so it picks up at McCormick Place, and then it goes like all the way south. So
that would that be the bike path?
No, so King Drive is like 4,000 east or so.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a boulevard for a long stretch, like through Bronzeville. You're like looking at all of these like historic mansions and stuff, and it's like, don't go on Sunday. There's a lot of churches. There's a lot of parking in the bike lane. ride King Drive on Saturdays. But yeah, like everyone is super nice. Like it's like if you go and like ride on the south side and like go to like community coffee shops there, like I'm a huge fan of Sip and Savor at 43rd. And like it's between Cottage Grove and King Drive. Like folks are welcoming, folks want you to be in the community and like being a part and being present. And it's just like such a difference from the attitude when you're riding on the north side. But yeah, I love riding King Drive. I do an annual trip from up here to Old Fashioned Donuts, which is at 113th and Michigan Avenue.
Please, can I come?
Yeah.
Please invite me.
Yeah. I haven't set it for this year yet, but I will let you know. They just renovated, so I'm excited to see their updated space.
I'm in. I'm trying to be like my friend Steve Offner. And if you saw it with Steve Offner, he rode every single street in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I started racing, like shortly after I moved to Chicago, I had this idea that I was going to visit every single one of the like, you know, like University of Chicago defined neighborhoods and eat something in each of them. You know, just because like I wanted to know the city, and I didn't know at the time that most Chicagoans like don't really go to other parts of the city. So I was like, yeah, let's just see what's up, you know? But yeah, Old Fashioned Donuts was one of my favorite finds out of that venture years ago.
Yeah, I just learned that I think Chicago has the most alleyways or alleys than any other city in the US, I think. And there's actually a donut shop that's actually in an alleyway somewhere in Chicago. So you could check it out. I just saw that today and something. And it was like, yeah, Chicago have all these different alleyways, and there's like 2 alleyways in Chicago where the alleyway is actually as like wood. Yeah. It's wood on it.
Yeah. Well, and like when you see
a donut shop,
there's like a lot of, I love Chicago history too. Like all of the streets used to be with like wood plank. So sometimes when you see them doing the water main work, you can like look in there and see the original like, you know, like 1860s like wooden streets still underneath everything. So yeah, lots of cool stuff.
You see, you always get to learn new things. You're in the city and you think you know everything, and there's like so much little secret things that you just never know existed. So yeah, again, this is why biking in Chicago is pretty cool. You get to meet new people, you get to learn. So you think you know everything? You don't know everything, as Lisa is pointing us to us now. So you know, again, you've mentioned many things and many aspects of why you bike in Chicago. So what's something that you really enjoy about biking in Chicago? Like what's something that's really that if you want to sell Chicago cycling to anybody, what would that be?
I mean, there are a lot of things. I truly think that Chicago has one of the best cycling communities in the US. And, you know, like I've traveled for racing a lot and like talked to a lot of people from different places. And particularly what we have here in the women's cycling community is unique. Like the amount of talking across teams, caring for each other, supporting each other, and really just all realizing how much we're in this together and how much what all of us do impacts everybody else. Like there's incredible amount of solidarity in the Chicago cycling scene. But like, aside from that, like, I mean, I love it because it's flat and I like to go fast. I don't like climbing. You know, we say the wind is our hills, and that's kind of true.
Yeah, but, I don't like climbing. I'm too heavy to do all the climbing. So my buddy's like, no, you guys gonna go for it.
You know, I'm doing squats for watts, not fasting for climbing. Like that's not, I'm not about that. That's not my scene.
I've never heard it before. I do squats for watts.
Squats for watts. Yeah. I love weightlifting too.
I don't do weights because they're too heavy.
Yeah, you know.
I see my arms are gonna.
Some weeks it's like
very
that.
Skinny. I just all the power I have is here, and my legs are because of my Jamaican background. I'm all fast twitch muscle. I am just built for speed, not for endurance. It's my Jamaican curse, but I've embraced it.
Yeah,
and it has helped me many times. I'm trying to build up my endurance, and then with this fast twitch muscle, I think I'm okay on the bike. I'm okay.
I either want to be going camping and eating the whole time, or sprinting, and nothing in the middle. That's what brings me joy.
Do you ever go camping? Have you do any camping around here?
Yeah. So I for a while had a website about bike camping in the Chicago area. There are like probably 7, 8 different campgrounds that you can ride to. Like you don't need to have a car to get to. So I had like a website with like routes and like information about the campgrounds. It had like a weird, like there was like someone at like the Cook County Forest Reserve who had like a kind of parasocial relationship with me about that for a while. And that was weird. Like, okay, it's fine. But yeah, I've always really loved like outdoor stuff. So bike camping was actually like what I was doing. And then I started training and then I got tricked into road races and then all of this other stuff happened. But yes, I do still love bike camping and touring and all of that.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So we do, you met my wife earlier. We do a lot of camping.
Yeah.
We haven't gone in a long time. We used to go to Zina a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like every year we used to go to Zina. We stay like for like 4 or 5 days there.
Yeah.
So we'll drive up. The in-laws will come in from Western Illinois, and then we drive up and we camp there for 4 or 5 days, and we go to like do stuff in the Zina area. We go up in Wisconsin and go get some cheese curds and some spotted cow and
all of the delightful things.
The cool stuff. And it's a really cool museums up there too. Up in like Zion, Kenosha area.
Yeah.
We went to one time. We went to a prehistoric museum and like dinosaur bones and stuff. My kids like they had a blast.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing. Like where I grew up, like dinosaur bones. But yeah.
So what are some of the campsites that you can actually access from with biking? Because I know.
Yeah.
So there's a guy from Triple X, I think Diddy. I think he does a lot of biking trip stuff. Don't know if you know if you know who he is. He's from Triple X, but I see he did a lot of stuff like that. So what are some places?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite to go to is Burn Edge, which is just outside of Elgin. So like for that one, it's like you take the Prairie Path and then the Great Western Trail and then the Elgin branch of the Prairie Path and then the Fox River Trail. Then you have to like ride some streets through Elgin and some county roads, and then you're like in the forest reserve, and it's like 6 miles from Elgin and like a grocery store and stuff. And it's no reservation.
You said no reservation?
No reservation, wow. But it never fills up. And they've got like electric sites and primitive sites. And it's like one of the only places that you can go and like you're actually far enough out of the light pollution to like see stars. They give you like a truly insane amount of firewood for $5 too. So that's great. And it's like probably about like 50 miles from like the northwest side of the city. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna rewatch this and take all these notes because again, me and my wife we go camping out with the kids. We go to Blue Mounds, we go to Savannah, in the Palisades, we go to Galena, we go to Morris, we go to Fulton, we go to Lake Leacona, we go to Johnson Salk Trail. We do a lot every year. We have like maybe like so far we have about 5 camping trips on the calendar.
Have you been to Bong yet?
No.
You gotta go. Yeah, the Richard Bong Recreation Area. Everybody laughs because it's called Bong, you know.
Bond, James Bond. Okay.
But it's just across the border, kind of near East Troy in Wisconsin. Huh. Super beautiful. They have like lots of like programming for kids, like I don't know, like nature walks and stuff. But that's good. And then closer Blackwell in Warrenville. So just straight west. That's like I don't know, probably like a 35-mile ride just on the Prairie Path. They've got like boat rentals and stuff too.
No man,
and it's like it's pretty cute.
I need to tell my wife about this because that's we have enough bikes so we can just stack up things and go. And I have more bikes, but I was filling up with bikes, so I took some of my bikes to my in-laws. I have a gravel bike, but it's not here because I took it to my in-laws. I had other bikes. We have mountain bikes, but I don't have space for it because now you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, it's a problem.
So it becomes a problem, and I think I want to be the one more, but don't tell my wife. But there's more coming for her too. So the thing is, I'm a cyclist. She cycles. If I buy a bike for myself, I buy something for her too. So I kind of just balance everything. Keep it fair. Right? And I have many jerseys that I have, and I get up and my wife is wearing my jerseys and my stuff. I'm like, it's okay. We're about the same size. It works, so it's all good. So before we wrap up, what do you do outside of cycling?
I'm a project manager for a web design and development company. I work mostly with like the performing arts. So if you buy tickets to plays, I might have worked on the website. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then I learned something before. She's fluent in Spanish.
Yeah, that too. I don't know. Yeah, I pet my cats. I don't know. I like baking. I have like all of the hobbies I have are always extremely time consuming, which,
You can share some of those more because she's a baker. So in the family,
yeah.
I do most of the cooking and then she does most of the baking. So she brought us down popcorn and
Yeah.
she's always welcoming and she a lot baking is her thing. Cooking is my thing. I love to cook. And I said some friends a couple of days ago when I was interviewing for my second postdoctoral fellowship, and the interviewer, Jennifer Hu, she asked me, "Do you cook?" And I'm like, "Oh, I love to cook." And she's like, "The job is yours." And she's like, "Well, if you love to cook, you must be a good scientist because if you can cook and it will help you with how you do experiments and things like, oh, I never thought about it like that." So now when I interview people, I ask them, "Do you cook?"
Yeah, I cook and I bake, and like one of my extreme pet peeves is when people say baking is a science. Drives me nuts. It's not a science.
What is it then?
Well, it's math, it's ratios, but it's like people acting like, oh, I must measure every gram of my flour. No, it's not a science. Come on.
If anybody asks me how much this and this, it's like in the back of my mind, I see the product and I see the taste. I see what I want to achieve, and I just know what to do to get it there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
like if you're like telling me baking is a science, then are you like calculating the humidity percentage of the air before you bake your cookies?
That's way too technical. I tell you this, I could never write a recipe.
I look it, I touch it. If it tastes right, it touches right, then it's right.
That's good. That's exactly. Exactly.
It's an art. You have to pay attention to this.
I would say it's an art, and a lot of people, like for example, a lot of people can't sing because a lot of people can't hear.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an art, and either good at it or you're not. I mean, I'm an artist, by the way. I don't do it as much anymore, but when I was growing up in high school, I took art to the highest level. And I have paintings around places here that I actually did myself. But it's just too time consuming, and I was in school and I just
you gotta pick one time consuming hobby.
But I think my art was actually okay, but I just don't have the time for it anymore. And there's with kids and everything too, and my career and all sort of different things is like gotta keep it moving. But that's awesome. They do so you and my wife can exchange maybe some notes and keep in touch, and maybe take her out sometimes with you. She knows if she want to go biking, she also can go do her stuff, and she has a bike. And our kids, one of the things that was a problem for us is like our kids are not independent. Mm-hmm. Now our youngest upstairs, she's 6.
Yeah.
And this oldest upstairs 16. So now we have
so
more
they can
time.
kind of watch each other.
Exactly. Because before it was just like, me, I get up in the morning, I do my thing, and then my wife she was just to beat after work and stuff.
Yeah.
But our kids are much more independent now. And my wife, sometimes she bikes to work. Mm-hmm. But if it's raining, she drive and then we work.
Yeah.
I have to make sometimes 2-4 trips to work. But we work it out. So please exchange numbers and get her out, please. Because again, she didn't tell you about. My wife was I think a 5-time state high jumper.
All right, yeah.
She did Ironman in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean Ironman is no joke.
And she has done triathlons. She's a decent runner and an amazing cyclist. And she's much younger than I am. So if she put the work in, that I'm putting in, she easily she won the top 5 cyclists in Chicago.
Yeah,
she's a machine. She's a beast. Don't tell her I said this, but she knows. She knows.
Yeah.
So as we come, I think we've covered a lot of things, and we get to know about you, your background, who you are. So if you see out there, you can yell Lisa. You can yell. I'm going to call you Mona Lisa because now I remember. You're going to be stuck in my head now. And if I see you on the road, don't be a stranger. Okay, if you're in a group, wave at me, and if I see you for sure, I'll never forget the face, and I'll be looking out for you. And I'm looking for things that you have that's coming up. Oh, I forgot. What are the plans for this year? Anything on the plate?
Yeah. I mean, I'm mostly just trying to make sure I'm having fun with it. I mean, like pre-pandemic, I definitely got into like an overtraining and like not super healthy situation. So I'm trying to ride my bike consistently, like what I'm doing, and then I'll be at the track. But I'm still probably a good 3-4 months away from being in contention for literally anything. So, but that's all right. I'm going to do some camping. I'm going to do some social rides for the women's community this season, and I'll be at the velodrome as long as it's not raining.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I mean, so I'm again looking forward to those, and if any of those rides that I can come on, please invite me. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
I support cycling in Chicago. Again, I bike with everybody. There's still me a place to meet, and if my wife says I can do it, I will do it. And I have to ask permission. I might look tough like this, guys, but I know who's the boss. Okay, so, but I'll support everybody. So before we go, one more thing. So just leave us with something motivational, like like to keep us on our bikes, and something that you use to motivate yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of hard because it depends on what your goals are. I know when I was training super hard, I used to think about this Greg LeMond quote a lot, which was, "It never gets any easier. You just go faster."
That's a good one.
Which, that's really true. But that one's that's too much of a bummer for me right now. I'm like, oh, I don't want it. I don't want to think about how hard this is, actually. Yeah, so I think what is motivating for me right now is thinking about who else I'm bringing with me when I ride. So, I've been in the scene a long time, so what knowledge do I have to give, and who is looking for that, and how can I be the person who I needed when I was in their place? That is what is motivating me right now.
I like that. So in a nutshell, she is a beacon that helped to shine light on other people. She has been there, done that. So if you ever want anything, she will, through her action, she won't become, hey, let's do this. But she'll be there for you in whatever aspect. Her welcoming face is always look,
I don't know, my face is the most welcoming, but I promise I am welcoming.
No, I think you got a very welcoming face, because it's because of welcoming face. While I remember passing you guys on Crawford about 3 years ago when I was biking, so I remember the jersey. I think it was a drop it jersey and the bike and everything. I remember. Well,
you must have done it politely because I didn't yell at you then.
No, because we
I'm sure you were
came
great.
up. We were good. We came up behind you guys. I will meet you guys, I think, at Crawford and Central.
Yeah.
Somewhere up there. And
yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
So you guys, I don't remember being that good at names, but I'm good with faces.
Oh yeah, I remember bikes for sure.
You're like Larry from Green Bay Cycle. He said, "You remember the name of the bikes? I'll connect with your bike. It could be 15 years ago, and I see you in the shop. I remember your name because of your bike, so I connect bikes. Yeah. Okay, so now I hope we can keep track, because I have my Mad one. It's not a Mad one. It's a Mad one. It's not really a Trek Mad one. It's actually a Tanton, whatever it is. I got it from my friend Patrick, and it's called a Mad one. Around the corner, I have a S-Works.
Perfect. Good.
I have actually a Trek. That's a Trek Mad one right there.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite over there is my Planet X. That bike is like a bullet. Oh my god! And then on my train, I got my Fuji, which is amazing. So I hope you can remember from all these different bikes.
And your soon-to-be track bike.
And my soon-to-be track bike. This is this bike right here. When I go out on this bike, it means I want to go really fast, and I don't wait for anybody.
That's right. Get it.
I just get down and I'm gone, and I'm just doing my thing. Or if somebody want me to pull in the group a little bit, I'll let them draft for as long as they can at whatever speed.
Yeah, you're gonna find me sucking a lot of wheels this season. Not a lot of pulling, but we'll see. That's fine.
Some days you're up at the front, some they're in the middle, some they're in the back. It is what it is. We're human beings, and we go through different cycles during cycling.
Yes,
and it is what it is.
It sure is. Yeah,
it is what it is. So, guys. Lisa, she's in the network. She makes it beautiful. We all make it beautiful, and I really appreciate her for coming out. I know it's raining outside. We almost canceled today, but I said, hey, there's some other options. She's like, you know what? I'm going to come, and she showed up. It's still a little drizzle outside, but it's drying up, and she made it, and I really appreciate it. I respect that. That you gave me a word, and you stuck to it, and that I can respect. And anybody who would never blow me off on stuff, you showed up. So it means that deep down, there's something very, very unique and special about you. And I will never forget this and take it for granted. We need more people like you in the world, that when you give the word, they stick to it. And I respect that. So again, Lisa's in the network. She's on the dropettes. She's a track. She's a beacon. right? She's one of the person who makes Chicago what it is. All right. So guys, as we close, I want to say, keep the miles and smiles going. As we meet again, guys, in the future, one love.